and gentlemen, welcome to Azeroth Daily for the 8th, or indeed the 9th, depending where you are, of February 2011. My name is TotalBiscuit, bringing you your daily dose of WoW news and comment. In the headlines today, patch 4.0.6 has been released and is active on the US servers. It is also expected to go up overnight on the EU servers. The full patch notes are available on the website in the description below this video, and I would recommend that you read them because they are extremely extensive. As with every major patch, Blizzard is also reporting a number of known issues in a sticky over on the US forums. I'd recommend that you check that out if you're having any issues with this particular patch. And if you have any issues with installing it, any problems like that, then Blizzard EU is also providing a help page with a number of different hints, tips, and guides as to how to alleviate common problems. Head on over there. The link is, of course, in the description below this video. The Blizzard art gallery has also been updated, including this, which is fantastic. It's a scourge whale. Good God, never seen one of those before. That and two other amazing pictures of dalran. I would highly recommend that you go and check them all out. And, of course, they do have the higher resolution versions available if you're looking for a wallpaper. And with that, it's time for your Daily Blues. For a patch day, it's surprisingly light on useful blue posts, although I have no doubt we'll be inundated with them as of tomorrow. Whatever the case, this one comes in from Father Matteo, who asks exactly why people keep queuing up when you don't have the time to actually do the dungeon. He's very confused as to why this happens. Daxxarri responds and says that actually he feels bad for the player, because chances are they got distracted or were alt-tabbed and actually missed their queue. Well, in that case, they should definitely put on sounds in background so that if they're alt-tabbed, you won't have this problem. A pro tip there, recommend that you put it on. Then you will hear the queuing noise in the background, even if your WoW is alt-tabbed. Very useful. They post with practically no content in it whatsoever, consisting of a single word from Kimberis asking for the BlizzCon forums back. Nethera responds that it's too soon, executors. However, they'll be announcing when they're open again. I'm really surprised that someone is so bothered by that, considering the BlizzCon forums, in my experience, have had nothing of value in them. Whatever the case, Nethera goes on to point out that they can in fact be bribed with foodstuffs. Lera would like a quiche, and Batchuk would like some bacon and jalapeno in his cookies. And also crack, by the sounds of his latest posts. Good lord, Bashiok, you really are turning into a modern-day Fangtooth. Drillbit over on the EU forums asks exactly why you cannot fly in the TBC starting zones, i.e. the Draenei and the Blood Elves. Vaneras responds saying that, well, while they will never say never, it's very unlikely that they will make flying possible in the TBC starting zones. Doesn't really surprise me, honestly. The TBC starting zones, as you are probably aware, are instanced. They are not actually part of the world per se. They instance them to stop non-TBC players from getting in there, and then never bother to actually convert them over. So Lord knows where the sodding things actually are. Whatever the case, it is very unlikely they'll change that. There'll be a bunch of remodeling to do, and once again, places like Silvermoon and the Exodar are modeled in the same way that all the Orgrimmar, Ironforge, and Stormwind were, i.e. it's a lot of cardboard cutouts and a lot of missing terrain and tricks of perspective. And with that, it's time for your daily grind. This one continues to be fantastic and is rapidly becoming one of my favorite quest chains, simply because of the way that they tie the whole thing together. I'm barely even showing you a quest here. All they're doing is riding along in the cart and bantering as they ride through the terrain. But I absolutely love the way they actually take you from place to place and connect it in a way that makes sense with the story. You're engaging with some NPCs that you otherwise wouldn't be talking to. You are stopping for a rest at this particular area, which leads you onto another part of the storyline. And there's actually an overarching theme whereby you are also looking to get all of the companions back onto the stagecoach as you progress through the quests in the Eastern Plaguelands, and there's even an achievement for it. I think this is absolutely damn wonderful, and I'm going to keep doing these quests and see what else crops up. And with that, it's time for your weekly feature. It is not Raid or Die, folks. I did take your requests, and I read through your emails as regards to what you would like to see, and the overall most popular theme was something regarding achievements. So, until we finally get another raid dungeon so I can start Raid or Die again, I present to you Achievement Hog. Achievement Hog is as you might expect, it is a weekly guide to various different achievements, some of which you might not know about, and the best ways to get them, including a few tips and tricks to make them a little bit easier. So we're going to start off with this one. There's going to be 4 in today's achievement hog, and the first is going to be Friend or Foul. Friend or Foul is an achievement whereby you have to kill 15 turkeys within 3 minutes in order to get a hold of it. And the best place to do this is actually over in Howling Fjord. If I recall, there's actually a few other places you can now get turkeys that came along in Cataclysm, but this is still the best area because it's so sparsely populated these days. So head over to where you see the coordinates at the top of the screen right there on the map, and what you need to do is to kill these within 3 minutes. So once you kill one, it'll start the timer. Now, you can just run around killing them, but it's kind of awkward because they're critters. Now, you can, of course, type /target fjord turkey, but that's not a particularly good idea because it takes ages to do. So what I would recommend for the most efficient turkey slaying is to create the following macro that I'm showing you on the screen right there. If you type that in, then you'll be able to bind it to a button so that it will automatically target a fjord turkey within range, and then it will place a raid icon, in this case the moon, over the turkey, which will make it much easier for you to actually see. Now, if you want, you can customize which raid icon you can actually go for with it, but that will make getting this achievement much easier for you. Now, the next 3 achievements are called Glutton for Punishment, and there's one for Fire, Frost, and Shadow. These are quests all the way up at the top of Ashara, on the top of this particular area right here that you're seeing on the screen. And these are actually part of a quest for Archmage Xylem, but you can do them without doing the quest line. It's also open to Alliance and Horde. All you need to do is click on one of the crystals to activate it, and each of these challenges requires you to basically do a perfect run of each of the mini-games up here. So we'll start by having a look at the one that you're seeing right now, which is the Shadow Challenge. Now, all I can really recommend for the Shadow Challenge is that you stay as close to the crystal as possible and try and angle your camera so that you can see what direction the next shade is going to come from. Now, if you get hit by a shade, it will completely cancel out the achievement. You have to get 20 successful shadow baits without being hit by anything. However, something that a lot of people do not know is the fact that you can actually kill off the shades, particularly if you're a higher level, and while you won't get a shadow bait credit for it, you can do it if you think it's going to miss the traps and actually hit you. So that should make getting the achievement an awful lot easier for you. Now moving on to the challenge of ice, what you need to do here is to grab all of the ice orbs and do so without ever taking damage, which means don't hit the sprays. This is really annoying, and the reason it's really annoying is because if you have any latency at all, you'll often get hit by something that hasn't actually made contact with your character. You might remember back in the beta I pointed out that that was the case, and it didn't seem to actually get fixed. Now, whatever the case, you can kind of cheese this by mounting up. Particularly if you're high enough level to have a flying mount, you'll be able to avoid the streams entirely and just grab the orbs at your leisure. Bear in mind, once again, though, that you can get close to the stream and get hit by it, even if the graphic on the screen doesn't show you making contact with it. So do be careful, and also you do have to hang around the ice orbs for a little while in order to pick them up. There should be an audio cue to indicate that that happens. Now, last but by no means least, this is the Trial of Fire, and this again can be completely trivialized if you use a mount, which will allow you, of course, to move much faster. All you'll need to do here is to stand in an area where the fire does not pulse, do that 10 times in a row without getting hit by the fire, and you will get the achievement for it. That's easily the easiest of the 3, to be honest, because, as I said before, very easy to cheese it if you use a mount of any description in order to move quicker. And there you go, folks. That's your achievement hog for the day, and hopefully next week, once they get it fixed, we'll be doing some stuff about the Love is in the Air festival. And with that, it's time for the mailbox. This one comes in from Synak, who says, in patch 4.0.6, Blizzard dropped a surprise change on players by changing the achievement the Exalted title was awarded at. Before 4.0.6, this was set at 40 Exalted reputations. In patch 4.0.6, however, Blizzard changed this achievement to require 50 Exalted reputations. I had earned this title before this patch, and it seems unfair for this title to be stripped from me after I had legitimately earned it. I understand Blizzard's reasoning. They want the title, The Exalted, to be meaningful in its acquisition, and increasing the requirement for them makes sense. However, for those who put the work towards this achievement prior to 4.0.6, well, they're now out of a title, even if they met the requirements prior to 4.0.6. So my question is this: what do you think about this situation? Was not grandfathering the title the right decision, or was Blizzard heavy-handed? Personally, I don't believe in retroactively removing anything from anybody if they acquired it legitimately in the first instance. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't care about achievements, so this is odd considering we're talking about achievements right now on the show, but I would understand that if I were interested in achievements, I would be bothered to have a title like that taken away, especially considering it does take quite a lot of effort. As far as I'm concerned, Blizzard should have perhaps been a little less lazy and should have created another achievement and another title. If they want 50 Exalted reputations to be something that you strive towards, then don't give it the title The Exalted. Give it something else. The Super Exalted, the Mega Exalted, I don't care. You know, come up with something sassy, something snazzy, something that people actually want, and put in another achievement that says 50 Exalted reputations. Why you would take the old achievement, then change it so that the title suddenly disappears from the people who have worked towards it, that seems to be absolutely absurd. And it is, as far as I'm concerned, a really dumb idea. I know Blizzard said in a previous blue post that they wanted to avoid stuff like the Fairly Exalted, the Nigh Exalted, the Mostly Exalted, etc., with a potentially infinite string of titles, but, oh my god, potentially infinite? Really? It's not going to be potentially infinite. We're not implying that there's going to be 500 different titles by the year 2013 that all do the exact same thing. No, this is the first occurrence of this happening. As far as I'm concerned, this is absolutely heavy-handed, and I don't believe Blizzard's reasoning is a good excuse. This one comes in from daxxarri, who says, as a long-time follower of your channel, I watched your videos of DC Universe and took great interest in how the advances of that game could be applied to WoW, particularly the style locking system. Both WoW players and Blizz developers themselves would long complained about how some combinations of gear make your character look like they stumbled out of a clothing store and proceeded to fall into a vat of mixed paint. I believe a style lock system could cure this. New piece of gear ugly, then revert it to a different style. Pick up some awesome looking piece of loot and don't want to replace it. Lock the style and equip the new, better piece of gear. No longer will your character look like a clown. This could also be used as some kind of achievement system. The gear that you've picked up can be used as a status symbol. In the past, you've got all pieces of tier 4, pick that style and wear it, showing everyone around you, hey guys, I got this, it was cool, it looks cool, you know you want it. People might go back to old raids and encounters to pick up a style to further up their cool score. It will appeal to the collectibles, achievement-whoring generation of gamers, and, hell not to be sexist, excite the female fashion mongers. Just wondering what your opinions are on this. Could it work in WoW? Yeah, of course it could. There's not a lot of argument against it as far as I can tell. I think that players should be able to look how they want to look, and there are very limited customization options within WoW, and that results in a lot of players looking identical. Identikit syndrome is way worse in WoW than almost any other MMO I've ever played. It really is bad. There are so many similar looking players, it beggars belief. Yeah, absolutely, let players lock their style to whatever the hell they please. Bring in dyes, allow them to change the colours of this. You know, so many games have done this already. Guild Wars had it for years. EverQuest, I believe, had it for years. Why can't WoW do that? I mean, they're happy borrowing concepts from different games, which I'm totally fine with, so why not borrow that one and give people that sense of individuality back? And yeah, absolutely, send them off to go get full tier 2 or whatever. Make them go and collect it. Hell, it's just another activity for people to do. And since you've got all of these achievements in the game anyway about defeating old school raids, you might as well. Why not? I don't see any reason why not, honestly. I think it's a pretty damn cool idea. Personally, I would like to change every caster sword I ever got into the Turning Tide, because it's the best frickin' looking caster sword in the game. Why can't I do that? Why do I have to have Ugly McUglison as my sword? You know, I don't want that. Okay, folks, thanks a lot for watching Azeroth Daily. Please provide feedback on the new feature. I'm not reading the YouTube comments. I've said this before. I stopped reading them a while ago, but I do have a moderation team who do read them, and they pass all of the useful feedback along to me. So don't worry, you are actually getting heard more than you were previously, because I have people, a team of people, sifting through all of the rubbish in order to find the good feedback. So I would recommend that you leave that there if you have any feedback on the achievement hog, or if there's anything that can be improved there. And also, I'd like to remind people that the Shorty Awards are ending their nominations process very soon indeed. Now, I'm pretty solid in 3rd place, which is good because the top 6 go through to the final, but I'm at real risk of being overtaken by The Sims 3. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that is unacceptable in any reasonable world, so I would ask that if you do have a Twitter account, don't create a new one. It's going to waste your time because it won't count anyway. If you have a Twitter account that's been active since the 1st of January and you haven't voted for me already, please head on over to the Shorty Awards. The link is in the description below this video, and nominate me with a reason. You've got to put a reason, otherwise it won't get counted for a Shorty Award. And while you're at it, bearing in mind you can vote for multiple people, please go vote at my friend Sean Plott, aka Day9, who is a amazing figurehead within the StarCraft 2 community and a genuinely awesome guy. He is almost in 1st place. Go and give him a leg up and help him reach the top. Thanks a lot, guys. You are awesome, and I will see you next time.